Welcome in to today's Irish NFL show with me, Colum Cronin, and I am delighted to be joined by our guest, Chris Fowler. Chris, how are you doing, sir?
Fantastic. Just hearing your accent makes me smile, man. I love Ireland. My mom's family's from Ireland. We visited there, and just thinking about fans in Ireland watching the Super Bowl and watching college football makes me smile.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously here, Radio Road, the Super Bowl, but in Ireland, I suppose this marks the end of the NFL season. But the college season begins in Dublin now, week 0, and it's been that way for a couple of years. It seems to be getting bigger all the time. Like, how aware are people on this side of the Atlantic that the college football season begins in Dublin?
They'll become aware of it. I think week 0 is something that's pretty new in the sport, kind of getting a jump on everything and kind of opening the season over there. And I think the matchup is really interesting, having Florida State over there, obviously off an undefeated regular season. There's a lot of heat around that program, so I think it's going to be cool for people. I hosted College GameDay, which is a pregame show. For 25 years, we kind of built it up, and it became this massive piece of Americana. And to have the set plop down with now Nick Saban, the most legendary college football coach ever, as part of that team, that makes me smile thinking about the Irish looking at the set, thinking, what the hell am I watching? What is going on here with all these people standing around watching guys talk football at the back of their head? But that's what the show has been, and I think having that there to kick the season off raises it to another level, frankly, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And just the idea, I hope I get to be in Dublin. We're still trying to sort out how that kind of intersects with the U.S. Open and some other responsibilities I have, but I'd love to be over there.
And I suppose one of the things that we're seeing Irish players make it through the college ranks. With Dan Whelan playing for the Packers this year, an Irishman playing in the playoffs. At Georgia Tech this year have an Irish punter as well, David Shanahan from County Kerry. And that kind of process, we've got guys coming to the combine this time. I suppose, again, like, are people aware here of how football is growing globally and the interest that exists outside of America?
Probably not, because Americans look inward, right? We don't realize that. I've been exposed to it for a long time. We're calling it for the Australia Kiwi cruise ship feed. So I've been going to Australia for 20 years covering tennis down there and watching fans watch the game in bars on Monday morning down under. And so I think the growth down there has been impressive. I called a game at Wembley, so I know that it's well established in London, Germany. It's going to Brazil, it's in Spain, as you guys know. I think that the idea that kids in Ireland would be watching the NFL and thinking that could be me is pretty damn cool. You know, I think when you see this sport, it's a curiosity at first. You don't understand the rules. It looks really violent, because it kind of is. And you don't imagine kids who are rugby players or soccer players in Europe thinking that could be a path for me. And it's really cool that you mentioned the pioneers have kind of gotten a foothold and paved the way. And you'd expect other kids to sort of gravitate to that path. I mean, it's for the select few, because I mean, this NFL is another level, man. If you see the college game and then you watch the NFL from ringside, you appreciate the average person, if you're in Ireland and you think about playing this game, know that the average human that you put out there, even if you pad them up, you put a helmet on them, wouldn't last one freaking tackle. I'm not kidding. One tackle would be a life-changing moment for anyone who doesn't understand what the NFL game is like. So, and it is for a lot of college guys too, when they get up there on Sundays and realize, oh, everybody's big and fast and mean and hits hard and has the attitude that you're taking food off my family's table by just existing. So you're going to be eliminated, right? It's that kind of cutthroat mentality. But the fact that kids are watching it and maybe finding their way to it is cool. The NFL needs athletes, and Ireland has athletes. Athletes are all over the world. In the way that the NBA has found athletes everywhere. You got some of the best players in the league are from Greece or France or whatever. So I think that the NFL would be well served to sort of cultivate that and get kids all over the world wanting to have a go.
Yeah, and the way I describe American football is demolition derby meets chess.
That's great. I'm going to steal that. I like that.
For people, then finally, maybe, for people who are back home and the Aer Lingus College Football Class is coming, and it's FSU against Georgia Tech, and what is it like? Why should people in Ireland want to go to that game to see these two sides take each other on during week 0? If you're pitching it to people back home, rather than sitting on the couch and watching it, why should they get into the stadium to see the game?
I think football is an experience that's shared in a stadium in the same way. Why would you want to watch a game on TV and soccer when you can go be inside the building, right? So I think that it's a curiosity. I think that fans there that know the sport will understand that they're going to see a little bit, I think, better and better level of games as more teams realize that they can go over to Ireland. It's not going to wreck their season to fly it back and forth across the Atlantic. You're going to see a sport where what's hard to conceive about the college game is the rosters turn over like every week. I'm exaggerating, but I'm saying the Florida State team that fans see will be the guys that they have curated out of the transfer portal, the way they did last year. A lot of new faces brought together, so it's the first time for them to get used to playing together, and that's either exciting or awful, depending on your perspective. But every year in college football is a fresh start with new faces, and I think it's, you're talking about somebody that's wanted to do this job since I'm 10 years old and grown up watching American football, so it's easy for me to understand why you'd want to do that. But I'm a fan of global sports. I'll go watch. I've seen hurling. I've seen Gaelic football. I'm a huge fan of what we call soccer, and I'll watch rugby with curiosity on TV just because I'm fascinated by it. So if you're just fascinated or you already know the game, yeah, come on out. Hopefully it'll be a nice sunny summer day in Dublin.
Well, fingers crossed, and hopefully we will welcome you there.
I'd love to. We'll speak if I'm there for sure.
Definitely. Chris, I want to thank you for your time today.
Pleasure, guys.